The Children's Bible, Daniel 3, The Statue of Gold. Nebuchadnezzar the king made a statue of gold, 90 feet high and 9 feet wide. He set it up on the plain of Dura, in the province of Babylon. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent out word to gather together the princes, the governors, and the captains, and the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, and the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces, to come to see the statue. And so it happened that the princes, the governors, the captains, the judges, the treasurers, counselors, and sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces gathered together to see the statue that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. They stood before the statue. Then a herald cried aloud, "To you it is commanded, O people, that when you hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, you shall fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king has set up. And anyone who does not fall down and worship shall in that same hour be cast into the middle of a burning fiery furnace." Therefore, when the moment came, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, they fell down with one accord and worshipped the golden image that had been set up by Nebuchadnezzar. Then certain Chaldeans came up and accused the Jews. They spoke to King Nebuchadnezzar and said, "O king, live forever. You, O king, have sent out an order that every man who hears the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, and psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, shall fall down and worship the golden image, and that whomever does not fall down and worship shall be cast into the middle of a burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom you have put in charge of the affairs of the province of Babylon. They are Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded your wishes. They do not serve your gods, nor worship the golden image which you have set up." Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego should be brought before him. Nebuchadnezzar said to them, "Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you do not serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? If you are ready, when you hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, to fall down and worship the image that I have made, then all is well. But if you will not worship, you will be cast the same hour into the middle of a burning fiery furnace. And who is the God who will deliver you out of my hands?" And Nebuchadnezzar was full of fury, and his face hardened against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spoke, and commanded that the furnace should be heated 7 times more than usual. And he commanded the most mighty men in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Because the king had instructed that the furnace be made exceedingly hot, the flame of the fire killed the men who led Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to it. But Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, in the middle of the burning fiery furnace, were unharmed. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was stricken with amazement, and he rose up in haste, and summoned his counselors, and said, "Did we not cast 3 men bound into the middle of the fire?" "True, O king," they said. Then the king said, "I see 4 men, loose, and walking in the middle of the fire, and they are unhurt, and the 4th looks like the Son of God." And Nebuchadnezzar walked up to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace, and said, "Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, you servants of the Most High God, come out and come here." Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego walked out of the fire, and all the princes and the captains and the governors and the king's counselors gathered together, and saw that these men, against whose bodies the fire had no power, not a hair of their heads was singed, nor were their clothes burned, and there was no smell of fire upon them. Then Nebuchadnezzar spoke and said, "Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and saved his servants who trusted in him, and who defied the king's word and risked their lives that they might not serve or worship any god except their own God. Therefore I make a decree. Any people, nation, or group which says anything against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces, and its house shall be made a rubbish heap, for there is no other God who can save in this way." Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to high offices in the province of Babylon.